Welcome to the Mindful Spark. My name's Dave, and in this video I'll be covering the mindful story from session 1 of the Reclaim Your Past, Reset Your Future series. This story is called The Boatman, and in each of the 8 sessions I'm going to include a story because it seems to be a really powerful way of getting a message across by getting people to connect with each other and to have an understanding of the subjects that we're trying to relate to that week. So, the Boatman. There was a scientific convention being held at a lakeside resort, and 3 particular scientists had won the acclaim of their peers and had been given awards, and they decided to celebrate on a beautiful day by hiring a boatman to take them out to the middle of the lake. And as the mathematician and the physicist and the chemist were discussing complex theories like the Gaia principle or the origin of the Big Bang, the mathematician noticed the boatman looking at them. And he asked him, "What do you think of what we're talking about?" And the boatman put down his head and said, "I'm sorry, sir, I don't know what you're talking about." And the physicist said, "Well, what did you study in college?" And the boatman said, I had to leave school when I was 12 and I can barely read." And the scientists looked at each other and said, "What a waste of life," and went on with their deep conversations. And after a while, suddenly a squall blew up and the wind picked up, and one of the scientists, being a nervous type, stood up and said, "Get us back to shore," just as a wave hit the side of the boat and it flipped over. And as the boatman was swimming back to shore, he heard a cry from the scientists, "Help, help, we can't swim." And the boatman looked back and said, "What a terrible waste of life." So what's the moral of the story? Well, the moral of the story is that knowledge is only relevant at a point in time. And wisdom is something that can permeate everything. So even if you understand everything about physics, if you're in the water and you can't swim, you're in trouble. So how can I relate this to my own life? I remember at a point in time being very stressed, very difficult time in my life. I was working in an IT company. I was studying at university by night, and we also had to keep up with exams to support the products we were supporting. So very busy, very stressful time. And to compensate with that stress, I used to go to the gym or have a few beers. And they're very good ways of relieving stress short term, but they're not a long-term solution. And I suppose the difference between wisdom and knowledge is with the gym and the few beers, I was dealing with the stress, but not what was causing the stress. And it was only when I started to learn to do some Tai Chi and some yoga that I was learning to breathe properly, slow down my overactive mental processing, and be able to start actually regenerating my energy. Because as you start getting tired and you go to the gym and you have a few beers, it makes you tired, and if you're still stressed, then you might go to the gym a little bit more or drink a little bit more, and it becomes a negative cycle. And each one actually, rather than helping, brings down your levels of energy. So for me, it was learning to do the breathing. It was learning to calm down. It was looking at what was causing my difficulty and dealing with that, rather than just always dealing with the effects of the underlying stress. And in my case, mind was just too busy. In this session, we're going to learn about being able to breathe a little bit deeper. The mindful movement is a really nice way of transitioning from a busy mind to a calm mind that's able to sit and be mindful and meditate, and therefore rejuvenate ourselves. I hope that was interesting. Thank you for watching.